Hi, my name is Natalie Thomas, and I'm going to be talking and demonstrating a little bit about using sign language as a communication system for individuals who are diagnosed with autism spectrum disorders. So, in my experience as an RBT, I have used sign language for a kid who is nonverbal and he has some sounds that he makes, but he cannot produce the words. He does have receptive skills and some expressive skills, but that's why we're really trying to implement sign language with a combination of other things to really promote that expressive language and mainly working with requesting or manding. So, for example, if I'm sitting there with the child at the table and I put two reinforcers in front of him, his juice and maybe a snack or a preferred toy, and I say, hey, what do you want? The appropriate sign would be, say he wanted a drink, to sign drink, along with maybe eye contact or eye to the me as RBC or to the object. And so if that's given appropriately, that sign, then I immediately reinforce and give the drink to the child. So he could be drinking it, then he sets it down, pushes it away, or I pull it to the other side and he looks at me, looks at the object in a form of manding, and I say, hey, what do you want? The appropriate sign would be more, and so that would be immediately reinforced if he appropriately gave that sign. And it may start out as imitation after or me modeling, him imitating, but then hopefully our target is to have him spontaneously ask in those sign motions. So those are two that I use, with requesting reinforcers. Of course, there's other signs for other reinforcers, but those are the ones I have been using with one of my clients. Some other ways to use sign is, a common one is all done, or playtime. So say we're at the table and we've been playing with Play-Doh and now it's time to move to a non-preferred activity. So I can imitate, okay, we're all done with Play-Doh. I model all done. He imitates that. And I'm pairing it with the speech as well because we're hoping to form that speech. And even if we can get him to make the sound of ah, to pair with the sign, that's, awesome. That's the first step to forming that communication. So, like I said, using the all done sign if we're transitioning from non-preferred to preferred, or even if he's all done with drink or all done with snack, that's the appropriate sign, is to say all done. Another one that I use pretty often is playtime. So we're at the table, it's time for break, and I can there again pair with speech and say, okay, all done now, we can play, and then he gets to go play. And if he imitates that and shows me that sign, then he can get up from the table and go play. So those are some of the signs that I use pretty often. Like I said, sign language is great for kids who have the receptive and expressive skills because they know what they want and they've identified what they want. They just can't necessarily produce the speech. And so pairing what they want with a sign or an icon or emotion can really help build that communication between two people. Also, sign language is great for kids who may have hearing impairments, and that can be a great way for them to communicate as well because they don't have to hear, they can just see what you're trying to ask. Manding and requesting are one of the fundamental ways of communicating, and in hopes to build on to making comments or conversations using sign language. So yeah, there's my demonstration with sign language. Thanks for watching and have a good night.